Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to the Thai Expat Daily Show. I'm your host, Kieran Mack, as always, and truly delighted that you've been able to tune in yet again for another show. Now, before we do get started, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. If you like listening to us on a podcast player such as Spotify or Apple Podcasts, there's a link down below in the description that will take you to a website where a vast array of podcast players hosting this show can be found. And finally, if you want to support the show, if you like us here on the show, you can simply support us by becoming a channel member. Details as always down below in the description. But now that's all done and dusted, let's jump into those trending stories here in Thailand today. In a move designed to tackle the scourge of drunk driving, Thai police now have the authority to take urine or blood samples from drivers who flat out refuse to blow into a breathalyzer. Yes, you heard that right. If you refuse to cooperate with a breath test, it's not the end of the story anymore. This new regulation, the latest attempt to curb the dangerous habit of drinking under the influence, essentially closes the loophole that's been exploited by those who think they can avoid accountability by simply saying no thanks to the breathalyzer. Not anymore. If you don't blow, the police can now ask you to urinate into a cup or take you to a hospital for a blood test. There's no more dodging this one. Now, before you conjure up images of police forcing drivers into unsavory situations, it's important to note that there are rules in place. Now, for the urine test, officers are required to get the driver's consent first. That's right, they'll ask you nicely before handing you the cup. And in a nod to dignity, they'll also give you a private spot to do your business. But don't think you can pull any fast ones. Police will be standing by, keeping a close eye to make sure you don't swap any samples. Once the deed is done, the sample goes straight to a nearby hospital for lab testing. Now, if you're still not keen on the urine test, don't worry. They'll take you to a hospital for a blood test instead. And here's where it gets really interesting. The law now states if you refuse to be examined by a doctor without a decent excuse, it'll be assumed that your blood alcohol level is over the legal limit. That's a big shift because it means refusal is no longer a safe bet for avoiding charges. It's a regulation designed to close the gaps and make it harder for suspected drunk drivers to slip through the cracks. And in a country where road safety is a constant concern, it's a regulation that's long overdue. Whether it's effective, however, will depend on how rigorously it's enforced. Because let's be honest, if the history of law enforcement in Thailand tells us anything, it's that passing the law is only the first hurdle. Getting it enforced properly, well, that's another challenge entirely. Now, the Phuket party is betting big on its latest idea, legalizing underground gambling with casino entertainment complexes. Well, the argument, if you can't beat the illegal gambling trade, well, tax it. And they're not talking small change. They claim this could bring in more than 50% of the nation's GDP. The party's statement argues that legalizing these activities, combined with casino taxes, could be an economic jackpot, helping fund education and public projects. They're banking on the global fun economy, valued at a staggering $13.7 trillion, and Thailand, they believe, is well positioned to get a slice of it. Prime Minister Pattaya Shinawatra has framed this as a 20-year struggle to legalise the illegal economy. But now, with the global casino market expected to grow from 1.5 trillion to 2.2 trillion by 2028, Phuket sees the perfect opportunity to jump in. Of course, it's not as simple as flipping a switch. The Entertainment Complex Act, with its 65 sections, will allow casinos to operate under tight regulations. Think billion baht registration fees and 5,000 baht entry for Thai citizens. The plan also includes a policy board chaired by the Prime Minister to set the rules. But the opposition isn't impressed. The Thai Song Thai party warns that lax law enforcement could turn this into a regulatory mess. Meanwhile, Phuket claims the project could generate 12 billion baht in taxes in its first year. With sites planned for Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket and the Eastern Economic Corridor. Well, the question remains, can the government really turn this bold idea into reality? Given Thailand's track record with ambitious projects, that's a bet not everyone is willing to take. The Thai government is pushing ahead with plans to extend welfare benefits to freelancers and the self-employed, including tour guides, grab drivers, content creators, and even sex workers. The Minister of Tourism and Sports announced that talks are underway to bring these workers into the fold with healthcare and social security protections. Of course, there's a catch. They'll be paying taxes once they're in the system. Now, sex workers, represented by the Swing Foundation, are clear on what they want. No legalization or formal recognition, just protection from clients who refuse to pay or cause harm. It's a delicate balance, but in line with Pattay's policy of welfare for all freelancers. Tour guides, on the other hand, are fighting to protect their businesses and their profession from foreign and illegal operators. They've already got a draft bill in the works, hoping to secure a place in the social security system by early 2025. But it's not just about support. They're demanding stricter enforcement to keep foreign competition at bay. So while the government welfare plan looks good on paper, it's clear there are some thorny issues to address. And let's not forget, as soon as freelancers sign up, they'll be paying their fair share of taxes. Nothing's free, after all. In a well-meaning attempt to teach Buddhist novices English, a temple in Antong province accidentally invited an evangelist who ended up spreading Christianity instead. Maha Kantopo, the district ecclesiastical chief, responded to the situation after a viral post showed a foreign man leading novices through gestures praising Jesus. What was supposed to be an English lesson had turned out to be a religious service. The monks have been misled, thinking they were helping the students improve their language skills. Instead, the novices were unknowingly participating in religious exercises, some simply following along because they didn't understand what was being said. The temple has since apologised and promised to be more careful. Maha acknowledged the mistake, calling it a lesson for other temples. Foreign Evangelist, it turns out, is no stranger to this sort of activity, with a track record of outreach at various Thai schools. The monks were caught off guard, having innocently accepted the offer from foreigners to teach. But after discovering the true nature of the lessons, they quickly shut down the session and reported the incident. It's a case of good intentions gone awry, and it serves as a reminder, no matter how well-meaning, oversight is essential when inviting outsiders into a religious institution.